Hi, welcome to the Spiritual Connection Show. I'm your host, Katie Augustyn. So I'm the spiritual head of the Transformation Center CT, which is based in Westport, Connecticut. So I'm a shamanic practitioner, I'm an energy healer, I'm a transformation coach, and we have workshops at the center. We do a lot of classes. We have once a month now online, we have satsang, which is Sanskrit for in the company of the truth. So you're welcome to check out our website for more information on that. I'm just going to put up a little slide that has our contact info. So you can see the website, transformationcenterct.com. And you're welcome to email us or call or text at that number if you have any questions. We do consultations, and I also do a lot of private sessions with shamanic healings and coaching. And I am taking just a very limited number of in-person appointments, but a lot is done distance on Zoom, which is working really, really well. So all of those things are available. The other thing that's back since the pandemic, we're doing it on Zoom, is the Shamanic Clinic, and we're doing that once a month. It's the second Tuesday of the month. So you're welcome to find out more about that on our website. So again, welcome to the show, and I'm very excited about my guest today, and her name is Susan Dinnocenti. Welcome to the show, Susan.
Hey, Katie, how are you?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
It's good to be here.
It's so good to see you. I'm going to just say a little bit about you, and I'm going to put up your slide for contact info, and then we'll get together and start talking. Okay.
Perfect.
Hold on 1 second and share this slide. I don't think that's the right one.
I can see it. Oh.
Wait a minute. I think I have too many choices here on my computer. All right, it's this one. There we go.
All right. I see that one too. I can see it. I saw it.
Did?
Yeah, it was up there.
All right, that's the one with your contact info. Okay.
Yeah.
So perfect. So that I just made a little picture of your business card, so people could get a feel, because I like the little tree and everything. So Susan is a positivity coach, focuses on leadership development and health and wellness. She guides people to uncover and use their inner character strengths to develop or change behaviors leading to personal and professional growth. Her focus is on the principles of positive psychology, appreciative inquiry, and behavior change, thus allowing people to thrive and prevent chronic conditions. So this sounds great. I can't believe we're kind of in the same field now, aren't we?
I know, so fun.
It's really cool. You know what? Also, all the letters, we were kind of joking about those a minute ago, all the letters after your name, but I think it's important for people to know. So I'm just going to give a little summary of what they are. Everybody knows what a PhD is, but it's this is a PhD from Gifted and Talented Development and Educational Psychology that Susan did at the University of Yukon. The next one is a National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coach. And this is a fairly new designation, you said, within the last several years.
Yes.
Great. Not something I am partaking in myself. Professional Certified Coach, and that's with the International Coach Federation. And then also a Diabetes Prevention Program Lifestyle Coach. That's the DPP you see there. As well as a Conscious Business Coach, and that was through Fred Kaufman. Wow. So there's a lot that you have to offer.
I know. You need more days, time in the week or whatever, right?
I hear you. And this is her contact info. You can check out her website at positivitycoaching.com. And that's her email and phone number. And we'll show this again, towards the end of the show, so you can, if you missed it the first time. So again, Sue, welcome to the show. And, we were trying to remember, we've known each other for a long time, as it turns out, probably, 20 years.
Right.
But anyway, we could talk a little bit more about how we got together. But first, I want to ask you the question I ask all my guests, which is, tell us just a little bit about your spiritual journey thus far, really anything you want to share.
All right. Well, thanks. First of all, Katie, thanks for having me. It's so nice to be back in your like living room. You know what I mean? A lot of years. You're right. We were both younger when we met, but we're still young. Spiritual journey. You know what 2 words, spiritual journey, and it's so huge. Probably since I was born, since I chose mom and dad to get me here. You know, in Chester County, Pennsylvania, where I grew up. But certainly, you know, I grew up Catholic, and everybody else was public. I think when I first was young, I only knew of one religion, and that was Catholic because everybody else was public. And then, you know, you grow up a little bit more and you get out of Catholic grade school, you go to public high school, and people are Jewish, people are Muslim, people are, well, maybe not back then, we didn't talk about them. People were Protestant, but then there's all these levels within the Protestant, Baptist, Lutheran, and I'm like, what? Like, why was I so kind of restricted to that it's Catholic or public? And that certainly kind of, I don't know if it bothered me because I grew up Catholic, always went to church. And I think you could count on one hand or two hands how many times I missed Mass until I was, you know, 2007. In 2007, where I'm certainly older and I'm 55 at that point or whatever I am, or no, I guess 45. And whatever, my aunt died, 11 people died in 9 months from 2007 to 2008, including my mother, including 3 aunts, uncle, you know, really close people in my life. And I was at like funerals like every month, right? And after that time, I can count on 2 hands how many times I have gone to Mass. So isn't that interesting? And it's not that I never prayed or whatever. I think I pray more. I believe that we're all connected. I believe that we're one. But over the years of being Catholic to being part of one, which is not one religion, it's one connection of love. I've been graced with wonderful people in my life. And I know I said to you before we got on the call, I said, I picked up just from my library behind me books that have made a difference. And when I first met one of my dear friends who's been a mentor for me, it was, you know, you have to read Heal Your Life by Louise Hay. Okay, now this is the original Heal Your Life. To this day, I look up, like my toe hurts. I'll look at what it could be in my life. So, and then you got into Hay House. And then it just wasn't Louise Hay. It was Doreen Virtue. It was more or less like with the Angels. And then you had, you know, 17 other ones, whoever, with all Hay House. And I resonated a lot with that. Like, you can heal your life by accepting everything you are. But then through, you know, Louise Hay and all the people who kind of join up with her, being coaching, I was interested in coaching, it was Cheryl Richardson. And then Cheryl Richardson with her coaching really is about the state of grace. And it's doing chants on my Sri Sai, Sai. And I use that and I put that into my positive psychology course when I was teaching it in Connecticut at Sacred Heart University. 2006 to 13, I asked to teach positive psychology. It was the most, I guess, grounding course. My grad students to this day still come back to me and say they changed their life. They looked at their husband differently. They looked at their kids differently. I mean, just like a, you know, like this wonderful thing where people could say, what's right in my life? Because that's what positive psychology is. And then appreciative inquiry is adding to that. How can I wake up and build in joy to my however long I'm up for that day? So totally taking your mindset, your thoughts that are just so random and crazed by the environment and social media, and allowing you to just feel centered. And then by, you know, reading some of these other ones, and we'll talk about a couple as well. Pamela Shodron, when I was reading the Jonathan Ellery book about there's 2 wolves that live inside, one that's angry and one that's calm and loving and whatever. And then the young boy talks to his father, Native American, how do I know which wolf will win? And of course, the answer is whichever one you feed. So those kind of things are part of my whole spiritual journey. And when I was reading, I guess, I'm not sure who it was now, but Marianne Williamson not because she's a political candidate, but Marianne Williamson. I guess one of her prayer books was Illuminata. Wonderful. It's always on my desk. And I pick it up and I can just say a prayer to Illuminata. Not to a Christian God or whatever. I mean, there's spirit, there's God, there's Mother God, there's whomever you need to guide you in your life. Certainly, I then hooked on to, and you probably know, the Course in Miracles from Marianne Williamson. And here is the most favorite 3 lines that when I get lost about getting too consumed with all the other stuff out there, I say to myself, nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. So I think my journey has always kind of evolved and gotten cemented by love. Like love is all. And so I mean that's where we can start, because there's just so many things.
Wow, because we literally haven't spoken probably in 10 years, right?
No, we haven't.
I mean, it's no coincidence that you do send a wonderful email every month, positive psychology, and just positive and funny. It's wonderful. And, I always read it, and I don't know, something just told me, get in touch with Sue and ask her to be on the show,
Sure.
As it turns out, I totally resonate with everything you said, and all of those readings also influenced me. And I think Marianne Williamson's book, A Return to Love.
Oh, I love that one as well.
Yeah, was probably one of the first that I just said, oh my God, this is it, and like you said, love is all there is.
And that's what's real hard for people to hear. And, they think that love is, well, I think Pema Chodron, even in her book, let me see, I have a couple things, kind of sign out. Well, we have 3 basic qualities: natural intelligence, natural warmth, and natural oneness. And, you can't have those 3 without love.
Without love. Right. I mean, love, what I've come to understand is that, love is not an emotion. It's like we need another word in our language. Maybe there are other languages do it better than English does. But, it's not an emotion. It's a way of being. It's who we are. It's who we are.
But I don't know why. Maybe it's a 4-letter word and people are offended by 4-letter words. Because we see, especially this year, which has been a year of loss, over 300,000 people, God bless them and their families. And I certainly know people and some of these resident homes and communities with older people who are kind of trapped in, as skilled care people, and they're not making it back. I mean, they're gone and no one could be with them. Certainly when I was volunteering at the Jewish Senior Services Center in Fairfield, Connecticut, it's now in Bridgeport. And I got their monthly thing, especially now for the Hanukkah times. And, the president said, we're sad to say that 23 people have died since March of COVID, 22 being residents and 1 being a staff worker there. And that's just like a small little place where people trust other people, you trust who comes in. And here was this, foreign whatever, COVID that's come in and destroyed lives. And, what joined all those people together, the 300,000, is that we're all connected to every one of them who's gone. Yeah. And people, it's sad to hear they're more worried about greed and economy. And I know that we all have to survive and pay bills and pay our houses and everything else, but that we can't even have a cohesive compassion for those who have left us because of illness that is across the entire world.
Yeah, I think it's that's a conversation for another time.
Right.
There is so much. Yeah, it's tough for so many people right now. But yeah, getting back to the love, I think if that's what, if we could just focus on that, like you said, and the compassion, and that's who we are. And I think, to me, there's either love or there's fear.
Mm. Yeah, but I know people say that, I'm afraid, but fear and the fun little saying or poster that's out there, false expectations appearing real. we bring it out as an excuse not to love, because love can be hard for people. They have to forgive. They have to learn how to share compassion together. And when you haven't learned how to share, or it's all about you, then it's very difficult. Or you want to be right. It's very hard to forgive. And another author I've read is Colin Tipping, Radical Forgiveness. I'm not sure if you ever read any of his books.
I know it. I haven't read it, but I love the term, you know.
Yeah, radical forgiveness. It's being selfless. And where's the tutorial on that for people if they can't walk
Yeah.
away with something?
No, you're right. It hasn't been part of our culture and our upbringing for very few people. I mean, it wasn't anything I learned growing up, and so I think that's why we do what we do, because we can just get people in touch with that part of themselves, which is really who they are.
Yeah, and it's I don't know about you, but when I coach people, and certainly with the health and wellness connection, people believe they're a worker for so many hours a day, then they're a mom or a friend or a partner for so many other hours a day, and then they're a sweet person for whatever hours a day, and they don't realize they're one person 24/7. And they say, "Oh, I don't have time to take care of my health. I don't have time to eat healthy. I don't have time," but they have time to be ill. Diabetes comes and gets people. Pre-diabetes is preventable. Chronic conditions are more or less preventable. But when we're coaching the people who have these kind of pre sections before they blow out to, the high blood pressure relates to some heart disease and what have you, you talk to them and say, when will you take time for you? And it eventually crushes in. They don't feel good about themselves. And they feel good about helping their children or helping a neighbor or helping some stranger, and good for them. But when it comes down to themselves, there's the self-worth, the self-love, either hasn't been modeled, or they're fighting some gremlins inside that they just can't get rid of.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. That's something that I focus on a lot with people, is that self-love, and it has to be taught, because we don't get it. We get just the opposite. We get a little voice in our head saying, you're not doing enough. What's wrong with you?
Right.
I mean, I can certainly relate to that, and it's just, that's not who we are. But I think people are just it's a habit. It's a habit of mind. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I think some of it too. Like I started, I grew up, we were Catholic or public, and I have such dear Jewish friends now at this point where, good thing I got past the Catholic public. I would have not known there were Jewish people, right? And it's Hanukkah week, so good for me. But I think because some of our parents who just are, just not guilty of being anything but themselves, grew up in Catholics stayed together, Jewish people stayed together. You had to believe if you were Lutheran or Presbyterian, the way of being. Muslims were like out, you don't even count. Hindus, you don't even count. Buddhists, you don't even count, because that's a foreign land. And that really cut into a lot of acceptance. So I think at a young age, children, and there's so much social media now, which could be distorting as well. If they don't learn how to accept each other as like really your brother, sister, regardless of what borders you have to cross, it's a long haul up, Katie.
Yeah, but it's so it's more than possible. I mean, to me, that's the journey that everybody is on. Really, we all are on that journey, and to one degree or another. And it's a matter of opening eyes and opening hearts.
Yeah. Well, what are your suggestions of opening hearts?
Well, it does start with self-love. Definitely does, with self-compassion, and then and it's just compassion. If you start with compassion and then gratitude, it's amazing, just those two things, how that can open your heart. And then, of course, for me, connecting to the God of my heart, which is, I believe that there's that divine spark in all of us, and it's inside of us. So connecting to that, which connects you to, great spirit or God or, the whole universe, however you want to phrase it, that that you're all one, like you were saying, we're all connected. That's why I do the show, because it's all,
Right.
we connect with each other as you and I are doing. We also allow everyone out there to connect with us and connect with themselves, connect with their own spiritual selves. And, I think a lot of times people don't think of that honestly. They're so focused on doing and getting somewhere and, you know, accomplishing this or that. They don't stop to say, what's the most important thing?
Right. Right.
Loving myself and loving you and loving God. That's really,
Yeah, and I get that a lot, especially with the business coaching that I'm doing. I'll say to them, "What do you value?" And it's what, like, I value deadlines and timelines and the sale. I'm like, no, 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 no. What do you personally value? And usually they'll say, "Well, I value my children. I value my wife or husband." Hey, what else do you value? I value alone time. I value people. I value my health. And then, of course, you say you got to put that into practice. Very difficult for them to then walk their value talk into their daily life. It's as if someone's standing over them and, no, 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 can't go there, can't go there. So, I'm kind of thankful for COVID right now, because people have to be with other people if, of course, they have a family and they can't go out to work or whatever, or they have to communicate and look at somebody on Zoom. But in their homes, like with their books behind them or the dog jumping up and things, they almost have to be a part human,
yeah.
even if they have this high-powered job or the baby's crying or they're helping their grandparent or whatever they're doing.
Yeah.
And so it's made everybody a little vulnerable, and people are crazy about it. They're not happy. Other people are like, I'm going to change my job. I don't need to be doing this. This is not what I enjoy. I want time with my kids. So it's there's always light at something that we think we're getting tortured by, but there's learning in everything. And that's what I'm so grateful for right now.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. The learning that's there and the silver lining is that I think that's what it is. It's like finding out of us as individuals what's important to us.
Oh, it is. I just picked up the book. I had, of course, the love poems of Rumi. Do you know Rumi?
Oh yeah,
All right. So here's another thing. It doesn't matter what religion. And then when I found out Rumi was taught, all his poems are about the love of his God, which is my God, obviously. But and I'm kind of like looking for love. We just talked about love. A strange passion is moving in my head. My heart has become a bird which searches in the sky. Every part of me goes in different directions. Is it really so that the one I love is everywhere? I mean, yeah, only like Rumi can write, short and sweet and to the point, right?
Right to the point and beautiful. It's just like it just kind of stops you in your tracks and you just, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like reading a poem by Mary Oliver or something. Again, she writes with grace, as does Sue Monk Kidd. I'm not sure if you ever read any of her books.
Yeah.
When the Heart Waits. I mean, there's just so much for your listeners to grab onto, and it doesn't have to be deep into a certain religious setting. Anybody who does write some of the stuff. Deepak Chopra has been, legendary in his ways of reaching out to people with mindfulness, and John Kabat-Zinn, as well as letting people, I guess, giving them permission to take the time to just allow.
Yeah, that's really, really, really great way of saying it, that we need to give ourselves permission to just be.
I know. I don't get why that's so difficult. I think I'm very happy that I am with spirit, and I do believe that. From, I guess, my mom used to love the Blessed Mother. My mom's gone. My dad's gone, and they're gone for a lot of years now. And she used to have this Blessed Mother altar, which a lot of traditional Catholic women had, because like May was the holy, whatever it was, the month where the May altar. Yeah, I get it, the May altar. So I always loved that she had this little Blessed Mother on her bureau. And I have one to this day. I have three. Like there's one here on my desk, and it's not because I'm the Blessed Mother plan. And they're all like, that's just the head. There's no body. So I call her Mary Head. And I literally travel with this little plastic thing that I got when I was in grade school, 4th grade. It was pagan babies that you donated money, and then you adopted some baby in, a third world country. So I have this little plastic Mary Head right now. She's taken apart because I got to repaint her. And she has traveled Italy, Paris, my friends' places for vacation. They go, so what is that? I'm like, it's Mary Head. I just know that she's there. It's not like I pray extra or whatever. It's like my attachment to this, like a teddy bear a little kid would take around. I've got Mary Head,
That's great. Well, it's a good reminder and a representation of what's important to you. And I think that's cool.
Yeah, I think that's why if people are given that permission, like what can you take with you when something really goes wrong? It's a bad time of the year, health is gone, people leave your life or whatever it is. Like, and I don't grab onto Mary Head, obviously, but the belief that there is something greater than myself, and that spirit, that something greater than myself, is I'm in the hands, and I'm utterly perfectly safe. And that the last kind of words of this Bella Ruth Napasak, I listened to this meditation by her, and that's some of the last things she says. More and more, I know I'm fine because I'm utterly perfectly safe, held in the hands of God. And I can visualize that. I can visualize that light. And I think people, if we can challenge the guests who watch your show, is to give yourself the opportunity to envision the light where you are safe, perfectly safe, and held in the hands of whomever is your spirit of love.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, that's really, I think that's very valuable for people to know that they can go to that safe place. It's in their heart, it's with their creator, and have that peace. That's what brings us peace, and faith, too. So
I know. Well, I'm going to mention two more people just because they all run on each other. I think we have 1 more minute. Obviously,
then we're going to have to start to wrap up because we
are
running out of time. Okay.
The Viktor Frankls of the world, of course. How can you not read his book and not feel whole and connected? Henry Nouwen, who was Mr. Rogers' good old friend, and Parker Palmer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, Henry knew him. He was a monk, and then he was one of the best friends of Mr. Rogers, who was also friends of Parker Palmer. Courage to teach, the courage to be. They're all these people are connected. So when you say, "What's my journey?" it's just picking up something else and then seeing where the commonalities lie across love.
Yes, that's perfect because it all fits. It's all
right.
Well, this was so great having you on. I'm going to put up your contact info again, Sue.
Okay.
So people know how to get in touch with you if they have any questions. And, Sue does everything distance, even though she's not necessarily where you are. She's to talk to you and coach you, whatever you need. And then I'll just put up the Transformation Center information one more time too. You can reach us at transformationcenterct.com. All right. Well, this was a real pleasure getting to see you, and I hope we do it again soon.
Oh, thanks so much, Katie. I trust everybody will be well. All right.
I'm going to stop the recording. Bye-bye.
You get the recording.